Fine. Okay, I got it. So if you see, I think you all could see about MyDAC.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, it's visible.
I think it is inverted. The picture is, I think, inverted. Yeah. I think you all could see the MyDAC here. Is it visible, ma'am? The terminals, everything?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
Mm. 1 minute. We go for settings. Okay. Okay, fine. I think we can go ahead. So I think before our lunch, whatever we have seen is we are speaking about this particular hardware. So to work with this particular hardware, we need DAC-MX drivers, MyDAC drivers to be installed. So in my system, I have installed MyDAC drivers. So I've used with it. So when I want to use this hardware, so first I have to ensure this hardware is connected with my computer. So I'll go to NI Max. Is any screen popping up?
Yes, yes, sir.
So
Yes,
I think
we
you
can
could
see.
see this Measurement and Automation Explorer, right?
Yes, yes. Correct. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So if you see under Device and Interfaces,
Hello.
under Device and Interfaces, I have a camera connected, and also I have a MyDAC connected here. So this is a MyDAC which I got connected. So this MyDAC is present with me. So self-test pass. So there is no issues with this communication to my computer. So I can easily use this hardware to my computer. So now I just want to go a little close to you all and showcase that. Do you see audio in, audio out? Do you see analog in, analog out terminals, DIO terminals over there? So these are the pins and terminals which we are going to use for a sensor interface. So now if you see in it, so I just want to open here MyDAC. So I'll just go for function generator. So NILVIS function generator. So this function generator will be coming from this MyDAC. So this hardware is going to show me or going to be used as a function generator. So now I think it is getting loading. I got a function generator here. So now you all got, I got a function generator. So here left side, I can choose sine or square or triangle. I can vary this frequency. I can vary this amplitude. So I can go here. So which DAC card I have? I have one MyDAC which is connected. Through which channel I'm generating? Whether I'm generating through AO channel 0 or AO channel 1. So based on that, I have to define it. So I have two analog output channels. So based on what I have to use. So now if I generate a signal, I want to see that signal. So what do I do is I have something called as oscilloscope. NILSMX oscilloscope. So which is going to open. So I think I'm getting closer to this DAC card so that you all could see the pinouts clearly. So I have AO channel 0, AO channel 1, and A 0 plus 0 minus 1 plus 1 minus. Give me a moment, 1 minute. Yeah, fine. So now what I'll do is I'll just try to connect. I'll just try to connect this analog input terminals so that we'll come to know how exactly the signal is being generated and taken. So now what I'll do it is I have one wire. So I have one wire with me. So this wire I'm trying to connect it to analog input terminal and I'll give it to the analog output terminal there. So from AO to I'll connect it to AI. So what I do is so I'll go for analog out. So one terminal I'm connected. I'm just trying to connect it back to the analog input channel 0 plus. One minute, just hold on. Yeah, sorry. So now, if you see here, I have connected my DAC to one terminal. So here, what do I have is I have positive connected to the positive, negative I will be connecting. So to be very simple, so now what do I have is I have a DAC card. So in my DAC card, I have two terminals. So one is my function generator and oscilloscope. So this is my FG. So this is my FG and this is my CRO. So now I want to make connections among them. So what do I do is, so I'll take a positive line function generator positive. I connect over here to function CRO here. So now what I'll do it is, so I take one more line, I connect it to CRO here, which is a black color. So I'll just take an eraser so that we all, okay. Okay. So now if you see in this is our AO channel 0. This is ground. The same I'm connecting here to AI 0 plus. I'm connecting to AI 0 minus. So it is something as a probe terminal, positive negative connected to the CRO terminal, positive negative. So now in my MIDAC, whatever I do have is, so in my MIDAC I have these terminals. So in my MIDAC I have these terminals. So what do I connect here is, so I'm just connecting from one terminal to the another terminal. So which means I'm taking a red line, I'm connecting that red line to here. Then I'm taking in one more line, which is a ground terminal. That ground terminal I connected to 0 minus here. So if you see, this is 0 plus, this is 0 minus, this is GND, this is AO 0. So this is how the connections are. So now, as of now, what I have done here is, I have done only one connection, analog out to channel 0 plus. So now I have to short the other terminals. So ground to the reference here. So what do I do is, I take one wire from 0 minus, I connect it to ground. So let me not connect this. I'll show you the reason why we have to connect this terminal 0 minus. Already we have given positive to positive, right? So why again we have to give that ground reference to that? So I think now you all could see where the connections are going. 0 to 0 plus, I have connected to 0 minus, one supposed to connect it to the ground terminal here. I have a AGND here. This ground terminal I'll be connecting. So now I'll go to the function generator, I'll go to the oscilloscope. So now what do I do is, I'll just run my oscilloscope. So now when I run my oscilloscope, okay, we connect it. Yeah. Yeah, might have connected. So now there are signals, but not a proper sine wave because my function generator is not running. So I run my signal. So there is a sine wave form with with an amplitude of 2, with a frequency of 100 hertz. I run here. So now do you see the signals are there? So unless until I run this, I will not get data. So now when I stop it, there is no signal there. So now do you see there are some floating signals are there? These is due to this ground line. See, whenever I touch this ground line, what happens is there are some spikes there. So which means some noise signals I have. So I try to ground that line to the AGND. So now do you see on my oscilloscope, I don't have any floating signals. Do you see these signals are not floating? I'm just moving my X scale, Y scale of my channel 0. So now when I run it, so whatever I do here, the same signal there. So if it is a triangle, I'll get a triangle, square, I'll get a square, sine wave, and moreover, please don't mistake, please don't mistake that this particular connections are real, these datas are real. In this particular, if you see, in this particular, when I remove one terminal, when I remove this one terminal here, analog input terminal signal, I just remove this. There is no signal over there in my oscilloscope. So when I remove it, there is no signal in my oscilloscope. When I connect it back, inside to it, then obviously I'll get my data. You see that once after I connect it,
just responding to 3 million people calling out Hey Siri at the same time.
yeah. So I have connected here. So now in this, could you see? I don't think so. My screen is visible. Whether the camera is that clear to you all?
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir, it is visible.
So both the things are visible, my screen as well as.
Yes, yes, yes.
So camera is separate, right? So there is
Correct.
no cascading of windows.
No, no.
Okay, fine, great. So this is what, if you see there, these are real data what we get here. So once if I stop function generator, then there won't be any data. So this is a real signal. So far yesterday, whatever we are simulating, right? So LabVIEW is not for simulation purposes. So LabVIEW is not for simulation. LabVIEW along with the real hardware we can work. So now in this, for example, if we want to work with any audio signals also, I can easily use. So for that, what we need is, for example, morning I was telling you, right? So where we can work with some dynamic signal analyzer. Dynamic signal analyzer of the same hardware. So it is going to use the same analog I/O lines over there. So I'll stop it. So now I'm generating a signal here. I'm acquiring through a AAS channel 0 there. So now when I run my program, so what is the frequency I have here? 100 hertz. So I should get a peak of 100 hertz there. So frequency span 40,000 to 400. Do you see I have a peak over there at 100 hertz it is. So I increase the amplitude of my signal. I run here. So I have a peak at 100. So it should be a linear. So I have a peak at 100 there. So I'll slightly move so that you could see the changes there. So at 50, I got it. For example, I'll say something as a 1K. So 1 kilohertz signal. So here I have to change the frequency span to 5K, or I can say it as a 10K. So 10,000. So when I run it, so now here I mentioned as a 1K signal, so I'll get a spectrum over there at 1K here. So I have a 1K spectrum. So it's continuously running my data. Okay, I have to take more number of samples there. So I make it as 40K. Okay, I'll go for a higher 20. I'll say 10K. So now do you see over there I have a peak at 10K here. So when I can vary things here, so it's very there. So this is something as a spectrum analyzer for me. So I have a hardware which is going to act as a spectrum analyzer also. So here in this, how exactly my signals look like. So I can move my signals and I can see there. So I'll stop this acquisition. So I'll try to take it, how signals are sampled, how many samples I'm taking, so how many resolutions I'm defining over there. So I can check here. So number of samples, what do I take? So I can take more number of samples. So when I try to run them, so now I have a very good sample. So now I stop. So now I'll try to take some spectrum in it. So comparatively better signals I get now, yes, when compared to their in it. So this is what this hardware can act as a different applications there. So there are multiple uses we can use this hardware. So one is function generator, another one is oscilloscope, another one is a dynamic signal analyzer. I stop them, I turn them off, close. So now, for example, I have my mobile phone connected to the MyDAC. I'll go for audio equalizer to get it for MyDAC here. Audio EQ. Yeah, I should have. But okay, or else we can do a LabVIEW program there. So no problem. So now whatever we define in it. So whatever we define in this here. We can do the singing over there with LabVIEW here. So these programs, everything I stop it because the same channels will be used here. So now whatever I have shown you, these are all something as an application software which are pre-built. Already they have been built and you have there. So now what I do it is, I go to LabVIEW. So in LabVIEW, what I'll do it is, I'll do a program. So I right click, I'll go to Express, Input, DAC Assistant, so I can define what signal I'm trying to generate. So I'm trying to generate a signal. I'll say analog output, I'll say voltage. So it is going to ask me through which line are you going to generate a signal. So I'm going to generate through analog out channel 0, which I have connected wire there. So I'll say finish. So do you want to run continuous or what? Yes, I want to continuously generate a signal. So I have defined it here. Or I can say n samples. How many number of samples I want to generate. So now to that DAC card, I have to define the signal. So what do I do is I define a signal. So I supposed to generate a sine waveform. So if I give sample as 1000, I can generate maximum up to 500 hertz. Anytime we can change this, so no problem. So I create a graph indicator to see the sine waveform there. So now I'll try to create a frequency and amplitude control so that I can vary on my front panel. So I'll just create a control. I'll create a control. So now this is the function generator part. Now I need to have a program for acquiring a signal. So Express, Input, DAC Assistant. So I need to acquire a signal, analog input and voltage. See, this is a DAC assistant, so it is helping me to choose which one. Are you trying to acquire temperature? Is it a thermocouple? Are you going for strain or resistance measurement or sound measurements or position, or if it is acceleration, whether it is IEPE type or a charge mode, or if I go for a pressure, whether it is a bridge connections? Yes, so I can choose them. So how exactly it is? Now I'm going to work for a voltage because I'm generating a voltage signal, so I'll be acquiring a voltage signal. I have already connected my terminal to A channel 0. So now I try to acquire n samples. There also I'm generating 100 samples. So I have to acquire all the 100 samples. Now, most of us will be very new to LabVIEW. So how to do the connection diagram? See, I have a connection diagram there next to the express task. I click on the connection diagram. So based on the terminal, which positive and negative I have chosen. So it is connecting to 0 plus 0 minus. If I have chosen channel to 1, what will happen? When I go for a connection diagram, do you see the connections will automatically change to 1 plus 1 minus? So I have to define through which channel I am going to acquire it. If you are not aware how to connect a wire, you can take help from the DAC assistant, which will help you how to connect a wire connections there. So I'll connect OK here. So now I right click, I create graph indicator. So this is my signal what I'm going to receive. So now this is the CRO part. So now I want to run this continuous. So I'll take a while loop. I enclose the entire section with a while loop. So while loop runs very faster, we saw yesterday. So I'll add a minimum time delay so that we can see the changes over there. So now if you see in it, so I have a sine waveform, I have a data here. This is the signal. So this is the sine waveform. Line width, I'll make it bigger so that it will be visible to all. So I have a frequency, amplitude, stop buttons. I'll make all the sizes 24, so it will be visible to all. Yeah, great. So now what I'll do is I'll run. So I have a sine, so the signals will get acquired and reconstructed. So I'm getting here. So every time it's tried to acquire there. So now the frequency is 10. So I'll make it as 20, 30. So whatever I have 3 cycles, so I'm getting the 3 cycles there. So there are time delays because of we also have provided 100 millisecond time delay there. And here also we have only mentioned acquire only 100 samples. So it will take only 100 samples. So if you want to see those 100 points also, we could easily see. So these are the 100 points. So when I run here, so I'm taking 100 points. For example, if I say 10 Hertz, so here I have 10 Hertz. If I say 100, so for 100, I'll take this point. So that's why your signals will not be proper. I reduce this line width so that it's easy to visualize. So I'm taking only 100 points over there. So now it will be very good smooth sine waveform what we have. So now when I can increase these waveforms, it will go there. For example, maximum it can go up to the range of plus 10 to minus 10. So this is plus 10, this is minus 10. So now I have given the ranges plus 10. So now what the signal I'm generating there, the same signal I'm acquiring here. So these are all real data. So now from this, yesterday we were seeing about whether the filters will work here. So whether our so whether our FFTs will work here or not. So whatever signals I'm trying to generate there, I can do the same yesterday activity whatever we did. for our voice signal, whatever we did, the same way we can do here. So I'll go for pause spectral, linear, I'll say okay. So this is my signal. I'm going to create a graph indicator. So this is my FFT. So this FFT has to show me what is the frequency over here. So now I run. So 50 Hertz in the sense I got the peak at 50. I have mentioned 1000 as the sampling rate. So only 500 samples I could see here, only of the rate of 500 Hertz. So now whatever I vary here, could you see there when the frequencies changes, I try to get a different elements here. So this is a real data. For example, I'll say 135. So this is the frequency. What do I have given there? So I give here maximum. This is 140. I remove the scale, automatic scale, 140. I keep here this as 130. So now do you see the peak would be so do you see that the peak is somewhere there at 130 there? For example, I'll give 150 there. I think it should be easy to identify. So do you see that the peak is exactly at 150 there? So the signals are real. If we remove it, we will not get that signal. So this is how we can make use of this hardware for acquiring data, and we can generate a signal. So now with this, we are generating a signal as well as we are acquiring a signal. So now I'll save it. I'll go for day 2. So this is a DAC, analog in, analog out. So for example, I have a few sensors also with me. For example, I have a temperature sensor. LM35 sensor I have. So I try to connect that sensor with this, and I try to find out what is the temperature right now in my place. So first, I want to find out how those terminals are. So LM35 pin connection. Okay. So in LM35, so I need to go for a power supply, V out, and ground here. Okay, great. So now, if you see here, I have connected an LM35 sensor. I have connected an LM35 sensor. I have 3 different wires I have. So one for red, one for brown, and one for black. So one for positive, one for signal, and one for ground. So already I have used channel 0 for acquiring signals from the function generator. So I have channel 1. So what I do is I make use of this channel 1 over there. So how could I make use of it? So I'll just remove those wires because I need some wires too for connections. So now what I'll do is I remove this analog output channel 0 to analog input here. So I'm connecting sensor output wire brown color. Sensor output wire brown color. I'm connecting to analog input channel positive. And I am connecting sensor ground terminal black to 0 minus. So now the 0 minus for the ground shorting purpose, I have connected a ground to 0 minus also. Now what I'll do is I'll connect this power supply line, red wire. So I'll connect this red wire to the 5 volt terminal. What do I have here? So I have a 5 volt terminal here. So now, very simple. If you see, as per the pin terminal connections, I have a VCC Okay. So I have a VCC, I have analog out, I have ground. So analog out will be the output from the sensor, which I'm going to feed it to a DAC. Ground I have connected to ground line to the minus in short, and plus 5 volt I taken from the DAC power supply itself. So what I'm going to do is I have already connected here to the channel 0 there. So now I'll go to LabVIEW. So I right click, express, input, DAC assistant, I keep there. Now I need to acquire a signal, analog input. Can anyone tell me, should I choose voltage or temperature? Can anyone tell me which should I choose? Should I choose voltage or I have to choose temperature?
Voltage, sir.
Why?
Because that LM will convert temperature into voltage.
Correct. So LM sensor output will be voltage. So I'll be choosing voltage there. I have connected this to AA channel 0 there. So I'll give finish. So I need to acquire more samples. So continuous samples I'll acquire. So I'll say OK here. So now if you see, I'm continuously acquiring a data. For continuous working, I need a while loop. So LabVIEW is asking me, you have mentioned something as a continuous, do you want a loop now? Yes. So do you see there, I have not even done anything. Everything has been done by DAC itself. So only thing I want to add a time delay. I create a constant. Now I want to see this output. I'll take a graphic indicator. So now this is temperature. I'll try to connect a different one. So I'll go to silver, white color, so it will be easy. Okay, silver graph. So this is temperature in degree Celsius. So I'll make line with little, okay. So now I run here. I'll connect this. Okay. Temperature graph. This is a stop button. So I run my program. See, I'm getting some values here. Why I'm getting these values or somewhere 0.26 or something? Because any idea why I'm getting these values in 0.25, 0.26? Why do I get this?
In terms of percentage, sir.
Sorry?
Percentage, in terms of percentage.
Correct. This actually for LM35, what do we get as? For every 1 degree Celsius of temperature variations of a room temperature, we will be getting 10 millivolts. So if I want to convert this value to the room temperature of degree Celsius, I want to multiply them with a value 100. I create a constant, I'll say 100. I connect there. So now I run here. So I'll get a temperature 26 here. So I remove this scale. So I'll keep it as 35. I'll keep here as 10. Obviously it will not go. So now I have a temperature sensor. I'll try to touch the temperature sensor. Do you see the temperature increases there? I'm trying my level best to go 30. Yeah, 30 plus it goes. So now I want to see what is the actual value there. So I create a numeric indicator also so that I could see what is the value there. So temp Temperature. I'll make it size 36. So when we run, we'll get these actual values as well. So 28 degrees as of now. So when we touch this, so it goes increases. So from this we can make our something as a data acquisition part. So now what I'll do is, this is a data acquisition part. We acquire data and we are trying to process something and we are displaying here. So now I have a buzzer with me. Now I have a buzzer with me. So now I want to test whether this buzzer will be used for a purpose here. Any temperature variation beyond my threshold part will be communicated to me, or it's supposed to tell me here. So now what I'm supposed to do? I'll go for a express input DAC assistant. I'll keep here. So now I need to generate a signal for a digital output, on or off. So I'll go for a digital output. I'll say line output because I'm going to choose only one. So I'll try to connect this to the line number 7 because it's for a very, very simple reason. It is only for a very, very simple reason because line number 7 is very close by to the ground line. So if I want to connect these two wires, red I'll connect it to 7 and black I'll connect it to ground. So it will be easy for me to make connections very close by. So I'll connect it to 1 to ground here. So I need to check whether this buzzer is working now. So how do I check? I come here. So I have chosen a line number 7. I'll say run. Digital output, I try to give a signal for testing. I'll give true. Yeah, I get the buzz sound, beep sound, I got it. So I try to generate a signal now. I stop here. So now I say okay. So now what do I do is, whenever this temperature goes high, above some limit, for example, I will take a comparison greater than or equal to, when this value goes, I cannot connect in that way. Okay, so I have to take a mean value for this. Mathematics, probability and statistics, mean value, this input, a mean value to it. So whenever this temperature value goes higher, I press Ctrl H. You see there, this, if I give as a X data, it is going to give me mean because I'm not taking one value. I'm taking 100 samples. Out of that 100 samples, I'm taking a mean average. To that, I'm giving a threshold here. So this is my temperature limit. So if this temperature limit is there, then what do I do? It is I'll convert. So this value I connect it to the data there. So now I run my program. It gives buzzing sound because 25 is greater than 0. I don't know how many of you are observing one small mistake which happened here. My program stopped, still buzzer is working. I run my program, I keep a temperature 30, I click out. So I'm holding my temperature Try to push. That's it. It came down. So I'll say stop. Now if you see temperature value is 29, less than the limit what we have given. So it is stopped. Whereas when I run my program, I have met something 25. I stop my program. My program stopped, but still, yes, but still what happens is my buzzer is glowing. Why the reason? Why this buzzer is still giving me a sound? Any idea? Any idea why my buzzer is giving this sound? The connections are as this. Very simple. I'll just give you a top view. Okay. So I have a MIDAC. From a MIDAC, I have connected one LM3-phase sensor. LM3-phase sensor output, I'm taking into LabVIEW. So once I take it to LabVIEW, then I process. If that limit increases, I'm going to give me a sound. It's something as a temperature monitoring system. I have to give something as an alarm. We'll try to do that. Yes, we will try to do this temperature monitoring system, which we are in halfway in between. So as an alarm system. So can anybody tell me why when I have kept this value 30, when it crosses 30, when I stop it, when the program stops also, why the program is running on it, or why this buzzer is giving me sound? Any idea? Can anyone tell me? Excuse me. Anybody there?
The ground is separate.
Grounds, all the grounds are common here, ma'am.
Okay. We are giving supply to that LM always, is it?
No, that sensor will take it, but I don't think so. Sensor have any work to do with the buzzer, because I want to stop this buzzer which is making a sound. Because sensor is from analog, buzzer is from digital.
A to D converter which we are using is the number of samples which we are taking might be more.
Okay, that's for understanding how many signals I'm getting. Answer is very simple. Because of digital lines, the digital lines here was a CMOS TTL logic lines. So this TTL logic lines which will hold the previous state. So when I run my program, sorry, my data got disconnected. Okay, I close. I run. So now I have here. So I'll try to increase this temperature here. I stop. My program stopped here, but the last value entered to DAC is true. After that, program stopped. Now the last value entered to DAC is false. Now once after it, it is false. So what we supposed to do it is, when this value have come down, when I stop my program, what I supposed to do it is, I want to make sure this line, I want to make sure this line should go false. So now if you see here, I am sending Boolean value false. So which means off. So very first what will happen is whatever present inside this while loop, that will work. Once after the program stops, then only this part will work. So now if you see, I run my program. So I keep here temperature 24. When I say stop, my buzzer also stopped. Now I'm not getting any sound because first it will update here. Once I say stop, then this false value will come out. Once again, it will make it as we are making it manually go to 0 level so that it will not be there in the high state. I am updating that particular terminal to 0 once again. So that is the reason, because of the TTL logic what we have. So it holds the previous value. Now I'm stopping it. So now simple logics, if we want to make as a buzzer beeping sound. So what we do it is, this is the condition, right? So I'll take a case structure. So there is a case structure. So in this case structure, whenever this value goes high, whenever this value goes high, true part, I have to give true, false, true, false. Whenever there is false, I have to simply say no. So that's what I'm supposed to do here. So now what I'm supposed to do it is I have to give a true, false here. Then in false state, what I'm supposed to do it is I have to make it false. So in false state, it should be false. Whereas in true state, I have to give something as connection. So trying to build some logic. So I need to give on, off, on, off, on, off. So basically, I'm trying to generate an even number. So the continuously generating zeros and ones will be there. So try to give me on off there. So this time delay I'm trying to keep this one more time delay. So I should get a gap inside. So I'll try to give a time delay of 500 millisecond or 200 millisecond. So totally I'll get 300. Some quarter second to half a second. 300 milliseconds. So I have 400 millisecond time delay in this case. So when I run, so I have given a limit as 28. It will not give me a sound. So I have the temperature increases. So now what we can do is still we can customize even more, or we can even make our programs little bit also. For example, I take a Boolean LED, round LED. I'll say alert. I'll change its color. On color, I'll say red. I'll say okay. So this LED I'll keep here. So whenever this is there, at that time only I'll get here. So temperature 28, I'll try to increase to beyond 28. So that is the beep sounds over there. So I can make it. So now here I can have one more, something as an open valve. For example, I have something as a control. So I can make it as I need to open this valve. So I can open this valve so that this alert will go down, or any fire cases or fire alarms. So whatever I want to make with this, so I can define my own logics, I can define my programs. So I can pump water from here, which means something it goes pump, I can take from this. So these two terminals I'll keep here. So yes, so I have a pump, so I have a boolean. So whenever I say on, pump also will be on, so the water will flow through it. So we can define them. We can easily make to it how exactly we can. So whenever we'll say on over there, so I'll run here. So on, so pump will be turned on, so water will be getting into it to turn off the fire which caught over there, or to reduce the temperature, or I can say it as a coolant. So whatever terms you can use it as per your applications you can make. So if you see there, so this is temperaturing monitoring system. So this is a very simple logic. So whatever I try to do, first I acquire data, I convert that to a proper degree Celsius. Okay, I got it. So if there is a temperature matching or verification of a threshold comparison, what should happen? So in that case, true, this should work. In false case, it should not work. So I'm making it turn off the buzzer. I'll turn off this buzzer. So once I stop my entire code, what should happen? The false value should update to the buzzer, so it will stop. So this particular whatever I use here, excuse me. So these are all something as a step-by-step process, which means we are slowly improving our program codes over this. Still, again, if I want to store some value, I want to store some values here. So what I'll do, I'll go to report generation. I'll say as a report. So I keep here. So whatever data I have logged over here, I have to save it. I have to store it in some place. So report title as a temperature monitor system. Author name, Manimaran. So company name, VA Solutions. Yes, who are the operators, whatever it is. Do I want to include this graph? So what is the measured title? Measured data is measured temperature data. Title 1 input over there. So should it be a web page? Do I need, or I have to save it as a workbook? So for time being, let it be saved as a web page there. I'll save to a location. Abhi Academies, Nagarjuna, HTTP day 2. So I'll save it as a LM35. I'll say okay. So I'll say okay here. So now if you see here, it is asking me for the signal. So do I have two signals? No, I don't have any Y2 signal. I have only one signal, which is the sine waveform there. Sorry, this temperature waveform. So I connect over there to the temperature waveform. So whatever it is there, once it is run, so this temperature waveform will be stored in it. So now I will go there, I run my program. So I'll say stop. 1 minute. VA Solutions, college details, Animal and NBA, NCET, HTTP, day 2. So do you see here, I have an LM35 here. I'll try to open that with a Google Chrome. So whatever data we defined, 8th December, this data, this is what the temperature, what I'm acquiring. who's the operator in it, and the tables it has. So now to the same, what I can do it is, I can add many things. For example, VA documentation, if I add, it will also take, if I take VA documentation, what will happen here is, file, save, I run. So temperature, whatever it measures there in it, so I say stop. So now what will happen is, it will be little good to see. If you see there, every second it is trying to store values. Every second it is trying to store values. I got all the data stored here. So now I go to this LM35. I open that with a Google Chrome. I'll just close this. So now do you see I have the same contents. Along with this, I got my front panel. So this front panel is the one which I designed for my program. This is my LabVIEW VA, but actually here I'm seeing it in my Google Chrome. So what do I see here? So these are the controls and indicators I used over there. This is my block diagram logic. There is a true part, there is a false part also. So this is the report, these are the sub-VAs which I used. This is the architecture, what is the step-by-step I used here. So you get complete entire, what to say, a report of your programming part, whatever you have done there. So though it is a very simple term as a temperature monitoring system, we started with a one temperature acquisition. But if you see at the end of the day, we made a lot of things here. So we measured all the values here. We try to store each and every second there is a data here. Each and every second there is a data. So this is a pic which will show you 1 minute. So whatever you are taking over there in it, so every information will be given, whatever the images you have there. So actually this is the signal what you have got at the last moment. So very first it started. So this is the image there. So every second whatever you carry, yes, so those informations you will have here. And the same data if you want to store into any Excel file, we can do the same over here. Sorry. So we can do the same over here. Within the same report, you can change it to an Excel workbook. So it will change to an Excel workbook. So instead of HTML, it will be saved as an Excel workbook. So what will be, you will get all the data in forms of a temperature there. For example, write this file IO, write to a measurement file. So I'll choose the folder where I'm saving my codes. Temperature for LM35, I'll save it as LM35. LM35. I'll say okay, but I want it to be as an Excel. So I'll have it as an Excel file. Empty temple, no, I need one column only, time, let it be 1. So I'll save it. So okay, so I'll save here. So in day 2, I don't have any Excel file. I have only images, I have PPT, I have LabVIEW program, but I don't have any Excel file. So what I'll do is, I go here, yes. So which signal you want to add to it in your code? So what data you take to create a report, the same data you can use for writing to a signal. Okay, file, save, I run, stop. So now I'll go to my location, day 2 here. Do you see I got LM35? So LM35, I'll just open. So I got an Excel. So this is the time and this is the voltage what it acquired here. So will I get 100 samples? Yes, I have 300 samples, 301, because I run my program for 3 seconds. Every second it is taking 100 samples. So I have 300 samples here. So from this, if you want to make your own calculations algorithm for offline processing, so you can use it for your applications. So whatever you take. So even with this, I think shall we wind up? Any queries? I think any doubts you have for this particular connections or program, whatever we make here. Do you see yesterday we did only one icon or one functions. Today I think you could understand how exactly we can develop a small piece of code, how we can use it for your application purposes. For example, if you give this as a student project, probably they could be able to do it. They should be in a place to do it. So if they are aware of LabVIEW, they learn with hardware and they can do it easily. Any doubts?
Sir, whether the data logger and this DAC is same, sir.
Sorry?
Whether the data logger and this DAC is one and the same or different?
Different, ma'am. Data logger is a software, ma'am. Data logger is a software which is used to plot or acquire and showcase whatever we are doing in our front panel. See, this is a data logger. So whatever we define in our code, everything will be there. Data logger is something as an application software which is pre-built with few features, how to interface with a DAC card and program it. In data logger, you will be using through which terminal you need to acquire. So connections you need to define, what parameter you need to choose, where to save things, what format, everything you're doing. Here also I'm doing everything, but I'm doing one by one. Data logger is something as a single application which does all work.
Okay, thank you.
So DAC card is a hardware is different, data logger software application is different.
Any other questions, participants? You can let us know in the chat section as well.
So do you feel this hardware would be useful for your students or regular lab works?
Yeah, it is very useful, sir.
Sure, sure. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, like use PG students and PhD scholars, it's very, very useful, sir.
Sure, sure, sure. I think if they start slowly by developing applications as this, for example, today, whatever we have done, slowly acquiring a data, processing one by one, if they learn things as this, I think this would be really helpful for them in, this will be really helpful for them in doing their projects works as well.
Yes, yes.
Any doubts, participants? Yes, sir. Sir, shall we wind up?
Yeah, ma'am. If they don't have any queries, probably we can wind up.
Yes.
Approximate how much costs for software, sir,
So,
per user. Sir, do you have my email ID? Thank you. Thank you very much, sir.
Sir,
Dr.
small
Gaurav
question, sir.
Sir?
Sir, yeah, related to this type of equipment, it is possible for speech processing like this, sir.
Yes, yes,
Like
we
the
have
type
this
of,
mic, right? So we
yeah,
have
yeah.
this mic, right? So we can use that. Speech processing, we can do it. So we have a
Okay,
16-bit ADC of 200 kilosamples per second. So we can
okay,
easily do it.
okay, okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. So Shravan sir, you can take my email ID. You can drop me an email so that I can share you the price details.
Yes, sir. So shall we wind up, sir?
Yeah, ma'am, I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
So you just check with the participants. If they
Yes.
don't have any queries, probably we can close.
Participants, please, any queries you can ask or you can let us know in the chat section. Okay. Fine. Yeah, as we conclude the session, I would like to thank session speaker Mr. A. Manimaran. Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge on LabVIEW, as well as your depth of understanding and ability to present the subject in such an interesting way is really commendable. We thank you again for your informative presentation. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much. Thanks for the nice words.
Yeah. Lastly, I would like to thank all the participants present and being patient throughout the session. Thank you, everyone.
Ma'am, Umayal ma'am, are you asking me or the coordinator?